Hello leaders, today I'm going to talk to you about another part of being a school principal, which is the CEO aspect. Now, as a school principal, you are an educator and you will lead the teaching across the school, but you are also having to look at a different aspect, which is a business side. There could be a number of videos I make for this in terms of the business side, but very simply, high level. Of course, I will make those videos in the future. As a school principal, you need to look after another aspect, the top line, the bottom line, and the branding, as I would like to say. The top line being your enrollment numbers, the number of students coming into your school. Of course, during COVID, every single school principal had to pay particular interest in the top line. There was a market decline, probably around 8 to 12%. Though some thought it would be more, some thought less than that, but generally speaking, that can have an impact on any school and its sustainability over a longer period of time. The bottom line, your profit, your EBITDA, the amount of money you have after all your expenditures are covered. That's another aspect that as a school principal, anyone aspiring to be a school principal, any teacher, any leader coming into it, knowing your facts, knowing your numbers, being able to manage that is really important. And the other element, another video for another day, is the branding aspect in itself of increasing your brand recognition. When I mean that, your school is an organization. Okay, you need to look after the brand, raising its profile, making your school the school of choice. Why would any parent choose your school over any other really good school? That's something, and what you have to offer them is something that you have to consider as a school principal. Today's video, I'm going to talk about the bottom line. As a school principal, it's absolutely necessary that you get a super grasp over your school's budget, because that's all you have to go by. You may be in a privileged position like I am, that you have a strong budget and you can do so much with it. You may be in a school like I was previously, in which you have a shoestring budget and you have to manage the best you can. You have to be able to optimize the budget you have and consider that well in advance. Most of your budget, anything between 60 and 75%, will go on your staffing, your teachers, your administration staff, and you have to ensure you manage that really well. And there's different ways that you do that. Your teachers, the number of hours that they teach, what you could call a teacher load efficiency, is that it's optimum, or is that too high that you're compromising the quality of your teachers because you're overworking your teachers? Trying to find what I call the Goldilocks effect, getting it just right. Your administration staff, do you have too many staff? Do you not have enough staff to cover absences and sicknesses? So 75% up to will be your staffing costs, and you have to get that right, your ratio for the amount of students per teacher, etc., getting that right. The other part is your two words, your OPEX and your CAPEX, your operating expenditure. How much would it cost for you to run your school on a day-to-day basis, month to month, year on year? What do you need to spend your money on? What type of teacher resources do you need to get for your school? What type of online resources do you need to get? Are they absolutely necessary? Must you have books every year? Must you have books per student? Can a class set do? Do you need to have digital copies or hard copies, etc., etc.? Getting that right, the resources right, and please base it on not subjectivity, but objectivity. And what I mean by that is, you may get a new head of department and he or she has a preference. I need this syllabus or this set of resources. And if they were to move on, as it can happen quite regularly internationally, the average rate is attrition is around 20%. So you may lose 20% of your staff typically. And if another head of department comes in and he or she prefers another one, are you going to keep moving around like that? No. You have to have some level of consistency, and consistency comes in your systems and your processes, and ensuring your budget is linked to your curriculum reviews and everything else is absolutely necessary, so you have that level of consistency and sustainability when it comes to your resources. As another example, your capital expenditure. You come into a school, be it a new school, be it an established school, and there will be things that you want to invest in. There may be a new library that you wish to have. It may be something as simple as improving, expanding your, remember I mentioned about the top line and you need more classes. It may be that you're growing and you need a new sixth form center, or you might need to improve an early years part of your school, as an example. It might be that all of these things are done and you're coming to your end of life for your IT, and you need to replace and improve all of the switches in terms of your technology so your Wi-Fi connectivity is really good for students to be able to use it. It might be that you need to invest in the mobile device management, which means upgrading all the hardware within your school, or your PCs that your teachers are using, or your laptops that your teachers are using are 4 years old and you need to purchase new ones for them, as an example. But all of these things are capital expenditures, be it buildings or be it assets that you need to look and consider well in advance, and don't do it reactively. The bottom line, your costs need to be streamlined effectively, and it needs to drive your school improvement priorities and realize your vision as a leader. But having a good grasp of the numbers will make it so much easier in terms of your school's growth and improvements across your school over time. You cannot do everything in an instant. It takes time. So this one element out of the three that I mentioned, the bottom line, having a good understanding of where you're spending the money, why you're spending the money, and knowing where your wastage is and cutting off the fat, so you have more of that, not necessarily to save, but to assign it another part of your school, is absolutely necessary. Many principals I meet, they know the education aspect and they're very passionate about it, as we all are. We are in it for that particular reason. But when it comes to the CEO aspect, they seldom understand it well enough, and they perhaps don't improve themselves and their own skills when it comes to this, because they may come from more of an educating background, if you will, rather than industry or business, and it becomes difficult. I came from a banking sector background, so I understand these aspects a little bit more, but it does help. So my advice to you is have a balance of the education aspect as well as the industry and business sector aspect. It will really help you as a school principal. I will continue to talk about the other aspects, the branding part of what I would recommend for you to do, as well as the top line, and share some of my experiences of how I was successful when it comes to the top line, and my little pearls of wisdom for you to consider. Please do like this channel, subscribe to it, share it with your friends or anyone else that wishes to know about the life of a school principal and what it takes and what they need to improve as skills, and support the channel. Thank you.